And let me welcome everybody once again to what's a special edition of our Beyond Black History Month. Edna Sherrill is going to take us on a soul connection and talk about her trip to the Motherland. And we're happy that we were able to present this. And I'm going to hand this off to our co-chair of our Ed Committee, Linda Crump. And thank you again, Linda and Jean, for their great work. Thanks,
Thank you so much, David, for doing that. I want to start with a very quick apology. We were supposed to do this last month, but we ran into all kinds of technical difficulties, and we didn't have the ability to easily communicate with the entire group. But today, we're able to do it again. And I wish I could tell you that we were technical free today, because that would be really awesome. But we do have one other technical glitch that we're going to hear our presenter. We're going to see pictures with our presenter, but she can't share her video today because there's a problem with her computer that needs to be updated for her. To make this the best experience for all of you, I'm going to ask you to mute so that you don't pop up. Since we're not going to be using the spotlight, you don't have to worry about how you're going to see it because we have an intern, Hayden Gabaz, who's wonderful. He's going to be doing the technical part of sharing his screen and showing what's going on. But I'd like to start, even though you're not going to see her face at this moment, to introduce Edna Sherrill. She sent me a really wonderful bio, but I want to let you all know that if you ever have a chance to be in her classroom and volunteer, she's just awesome, and you can tell the kids love her because of who she is. So she is an educator at Booker High School, where she also serves as the media liaison, the key club advisor, the 9th grade advisor. She's taught in Sarasota for 20 years, even though I think she's only 18 years old. She's been educating youth, and it's her passion, especially through culture, history, and the arts. So I'm going to turn it over to Edna, and I'm going to ask Hayden to share his screen so that she can start. Edna, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Linda. And thank you, friends and family who have taken this moment to do a little time travel with me. I have to say, this has been a joy to prepare because with every picture, I got the chance to experience all over again the joy of being somewhere that I'd never been and getting the energy that comes when you are revitalized by what you see and feel and hear. But we'll see all that in just a second. I'm going to have you hear Hayden's name very often because he's going to advance things for me. Before Hayden does this video, I'm going to ask that you join me in a special thank you to the Charles and Marjorie Barancik Foundation. I see John Annis. John, I wish I could see you, but I'm waving and I'm giving you a great nod. Mr. Annis gave the call that told me that I was one of the select few. Mr. Annis's call in March that I was an inaugural member of the inaugural class for time travel, and that is Time for Marjorie's Educators, TIME. That is an initiative that the Barancik Foundation has done that is life-changing, and you'll see why. But thank you. This presentation is because of this life-changing event. Now, Hayden, let's talk about this event. Take a peek and let's go.
Well, we are a few weeks into the school year of what will be a 10-month stint. Seems like forever for students and teachers. The summer is a time when eventually both can rest and recharge.
Yeah, and for 25 lucky teachers, there is actually a fellowship that allows them to take a trip anywhere in the world.
Amazing.
Wherever they want to go. 10 Tampa Bay photojournalist Tim Berquist talked with one of last year's winners about the experience and what it means now for her classroom.
Teaching is tough these days. The climate we teach in, the challenges that we're up against, it's a lot. It's exhausting. I was on the continent of Africa for a month. I saw elephants, I saw giraffes, zebras, monkeys. I got the chance to see a school and spend time at a school. I got to enjoy Children's Day, watching children be celebrated. I saw the many different ways people live and work with the resources they have. I met some of the kindest people, most peaceful people in the world. I got to go to Robben Island. I saw Nelson Mandela's cell. I think life lessons are embedded in everything that students learn academically. It is wonderful saying, if you haven't seen the Indian Ocean, here's a picture right here. Look at what's in the world that you're a part of. Look at where you can go as well. I had the chance to eat a worm, play some drums, see some dancers. The worm was really good. The worm was actually crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside. It was seasoned well. It didn't taste like chicken. It tasted like a worm. I stood at Victoria Falls and saw a rainbow and knew that I had everything I needed to revitalize me and refresh me, and I could return a new person. It made my life this year. It made it so much easier to return to work. I do think every day of what I can share with my students that reminds them there are some wonderful things in the world, and I want you to be prepared to be a part of it, because it gave me the chance to feel like teachers are special too.
I'm so appreciative.
Yes. I remember laughing as I thought about not just the worm, but so many other things that that made the time that was put into that application make so much sense. You're going to go with me on Soul Connection. You'll see 3 flags in front of you. Those are the flags for left to right. Oh, well, yeah, it's flipped. Well, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. Go ahead, Hayden. As I've mentioned, this presentation is given with great appreciation to the Barancik Foundation. Thank you. Go ahead, Hayden. Just a snippet. I had a month to not just think about what life could be like if I could do this every day, but to experience the types of things that gave me energy. So I'm starting this by talking about wonder, just the wonder in the small things that we might miss unless we kind of slow down. I call myself that time traveler, first because of course I am a time fellowship recipient, but the pace of life was a lot slower. And if you've been to Africa, you've heard about Africa time, right? The pace of life was different from mine. I felt that I had stepped back in time in a lot of levels. It was simpler, and I had a chance to gain a better perspective. So that's campfire, looking out on the Indian Ocean, and boat or two that you will see again. So Hayden, go ahead. Don't forget to put your questions in chat. I'll tell you that my students helped me to select some of these pictures, and their questions are what have me kind of excited about showing you what I'm showing you. What does a sunset mean to you? Think of sunsets and consider that at the end of that day, you have a chance to have a moment of gratitude for everything that you experienced. I saw sunsets in each of the countries I was in that blew my mind. And one of the things my students told me to remember was to share with this audience how special sunsets are, period, and how they make you stop and think and appreciate life a different way. Hayden? How wonderful and how wondrous was it to be at the most southwestern point of the continent. If I was standing on a map, I could not have been any more in awe at the miles that I traveled, but also what I could also share with my students so that they have, it's not tangible, it's not in their hands, but they got a good look of what it means when we say something is the most southwestern point. Hayden? Is this wonderful or what? I looked outside of this balcony at a place called Vita Nova Retreat in Cape Town, South Africa. And this is just a picture from my phone. I would have thought it was a postcard, but you're looking at Table Mountain and just like a little backyard. There is no way that this wonder could not revitalize me. Hayden. The first question that came up when my students saw this was, why are you wearing a raincoat? I don't see any rain. I know at least one couple on this Zoom has been to Victoria Falls. You see mostly Atunya, and I hope I'm doing that justice, but one of my lifelong dreams had been to see the falls and to see that rainbow. And when I told them, when we got there, there was no rain. It was a nice, cool day. And the closer we got to the falls, the more drenched we got. They say that that's something that they'll have to experience to expect it. So that was wonder as well. Hayden. So that's one version. That's on land. And Hayden. That's by air. I had my first helicopter ride above the falls. So you're seeing Zambia on one side, Zimbabwe on the other. And that was really cool. I did not lean out, as you can imagine, but I got the best shot looking down. I was honestly rather proud of myself. I wasn't frightened at all. So that's the aerial view on just another tour that gave me this authentic experience. Hayden. Okay, we're still on wonder because there I am, just kind of in the middle of the ocean. Wonder for me is relaxing with friends, and we are on a boat. We're not just on any boat. The boat that you're looking at, and you don't get to see the entire thing, way too many pictures to choose from. But this boat was handmade by the person who was steering it. It's called a dhow, D-H-O-W, and dhows are used more or less like people might use bikes or, or cars, which I saw fewer of in Mozambique. But we are going from Santa Maria Island to Inyaka. And just like everyone else, we tracked our way to a dhow, hopped on. We got to go to Inyaka, but we got to stop because of the crew I was with. We have, as you can see, a grill, and we had our sunset cruise, better than any I'd ever had. That was wonder for me. Hayden. And the end of that day, that was a purple sunset. I don't know if you've seen sunsets that go from like this beautiful golden to red to this deep purple, but the sunsets that I saw in Mozambique and to a lesser degree, Zimbabwe, the sunsets last about 30, 35 minutes, fading into what almost looks like it's a painting. So enjoy that sunset a moment before we move to people. Actually, animals. Okay, Hayden. I asked my students, what does the scene remind you of? So I'm going to ask any of you who have grandchildren or children who watch The Lion King, let's get some audience participation. What are you looking at? What's this called? Unmute and tell me. No takers. Watering hole. There you go. Thank you, Radia. Thank you. It's a watering hole. And my students were really fascinated because, well, you see it on a Disney cartoon and you wonder, is it really real? Yes, that's an authentic watering hole where wildebeest, antelope, plenty of birds and other animals were hydrating together. We got a chance to get as close as we wanted. I was fine with watching from a balcony through a microscope because I didn't want to be late for the next activity. But this was very cool. And my students recognized that immediately. Hayden? Baboons. Baboons walked about Zimbabwe like we'd see dogs or cats. No one seemed to not just mind, but no one seemed to tell us anything to watch except baboons will take your items. Well, because tourists, hand them things, and while they're not especially friendly, they certainly aren't threatening. I guess if enough people give you cookies or bags of chips, you think everyone will give you cookies and bags of chips. So we were told to not get close enough to have our things snatched. But they were literally everywhere. I think I could easily say I saw 10 or 12 anytime we went from one part of Victoria Falls to the next. Hayden? Now, I actually teared up on this elephant story. These are elephants after they had crossed in front of our car at the Maputo Reserve. Maputo's in Mozambique. We took about 3 hours to ride through a preserve. There, of course, no paved streets, which was new for me, all sand. And I had a video that isn't as clear as I'd like, but I'll tell you. A very large elephant stepped in front of the Jeep that we were in. The driver, Zach, as he watched the dance the elephant was doing, said, "I'm backing up now. This is a mother. There's a baby somewhere." So the elephant continued to dance a little closer, and he backed that Jeep right on up. And out from the little brush by us came 4 elephants and her baby. The baby's in the back. It's the fourth little elephant there. And I thought, wow, that's not just that instinct, but that's why humans should stay where humans stay and give total respect to these wonderful beings whose habitats have been threatened, of course, but we had the chance to respect them in their habitat and let them run things. So, Hayden? This was the first animal I saw. This is the first set of animals, I should say. This is again Mozambique. This is not on the reserve. These were just on the side of the road. And that was fascinating to me. I was the only person in the car who screamed. I guess that's because I was the American who hadn't been there before. Will someone unmute and tell me the proper pronunciation for this animal's name?
I heard you say zebra.
Yeah, we say
There you go. There you go. You caught that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sora Fran. The zebra like Deborah. That's how Zach, our host, explained it. He made certain that he reminded me, I will know that you're from America when you say that's a zebra. So the zebras were lovely. I won't say that you'd see them walking about the street. We weren't far from the reserve, but you would see them as you'd probably see horses east of 75. It was lovely. All right, Hayden. Now let's roll into some of the people who made this a very, very special visit. This is a special couple. This is Asa on the left and her husband, Zach. Zach, I will call not just our tour guide, but on the small village of Santa Maria, which is outside of Maputo, Mozambique. Zach has established himself as, I call him mayor. They don't have an elected mayor, but Zach is a business person who grew up right there. He has made it his business to offer his services through business first and also through charitable activities. He makes sure that kids are fed, that widows are taken care of, and in his own words, without the help of Mission Mashangulu, which I'll be telling you about, without their help, it would have taken him a lifetime to build a business at the level that he's built it and be able to help the people that he's helping. His wife runs his business while he is doing his trucking business, his transportation business, and they make a delightful couple. Quick anecdote. I know or I knew that Zach had several vehicles because he told us about this business, and he got this emergency call from someone. We were there beginning of June, okay? So he's explaining first in his language, Shanga, and he's explaining then in another language, and he finally said in English, just let them do it. And his staff member had told him that he was at the reserve and they were taking his car apart because the person who rented it was Putin. Putin, yeah, I mean, yeah, Vladimir Putin was on a little bit of a safari the same time that we happened to be in Mozambique. He rented what was a very nice, I guess, it wasn't a car, it was an SUV, without, of course, it being his name. And Zach hangs up going, if I had known it was Putin, I could have charged a whole lot more money. So we laughed at that, but I thought, gee, so interesting what's happening in the world. And everybody takes a break. Hayden, go right ahead. Mike. I shared Mike's story with my students, and I will tell you, if you're ever interested in seeing these little videos by my phone, please let me know. There were far too many to put in our 50 minutes. But Mike's story was very interesting to me because he noted he reads, and he reads because reading takes him places that he couldn't go otherwise. Mike's gallery is outdoor. It's Prince of Wales view. We went in an area in Zimbabwe called Vumba. The road is Vumba, and one of the big tourist sites is like on top of this. It's not a mountain, but let's go up a hill. You can see Zambia. I'm sorry. You can see Mozambique on one side, and you're standing, of course, in Zimbabwe. So as we drove, I saw a gentleman, his sleeping bag, and a few other items, and wondered if he had a home or if he were someone who just happened to be homeless and sleeping on the side of a street. I looked to the right, and there were about 150 pieces of art. You see him standing with his art on the right. So on top of Prince of Wales view, he has all of this art that he and a brother actually have sculpted. On the left, you see him writing his name for me. And his story is his dad gave him that skill. His dad was an artist, and unfortunately, his dad passed away when he was 13. So Mike took his dad's teachings, taught his younger brother. His brother was about 8 at the time, and they began to do art to make certain that their family could eat. Mike found that nice spot up on Prince of Wales. He uses that space, and he uses his inspiration that he gets from books that people give him to do his art. I was mesmerized. I had one book that I had taken for that trip, only one book, and I would have taken many more if I didn't, if I had more room in my bags. I had taken Dreams of My Father by President Obama, and I gave Mike that book. So he had one more opportunity to delve into those pages and think of something that, as he puts it, makes him create art. Thank you, Hayden. We're going to talk about schools a little later, but these 3 people and many like them made such a difference to me. We went to the Nzebe School for the Deaf. And on the left, you'll see Lorraine, who's wearing a hat. And on the right, 2 other students who made us know that they would like to be taken back to the States if we could. And it wasn't because they think that that they'd have such an awesome experience in schools here. None of these students knew what an airplane looked like. And because they are not hearing students, we had the pleasure of testing ourselves communicating, not knowing Zimbabwean Sign Language, communicating the experience of flying on an airplane. As promised, I will get to the school thing, but I will tell you, Lorraine on the left is an amputee. Regrettably, I guess when you're other abled and communities are improving, but still, of course, need to do what people need. There were no signs that deaf children were in the neighborhood, and Lorraine actually lost her leg when she was hit by a train. It is amazing that she is alive and well. She was taken to another country to be fitted with prosthetics, and she at this age, I believe she's turning 18, says that one of her goals is to learn medicine so that she can help other people as she was helped. But I'll come back to the Nzevi School. Hayden. This is still Nzevi, and you meet now my partner on your right. That's Ms. Jasmine Prasad, who's a Booker High School teacher. She actually was just promoted to instructional facilitator. That means that she's a teacher teaching teachers. This is the person that I can't say roped into this. She laughs about this quick phone call. I told her, this is hypothetical. Let's say I'm hoping to get a trip to Africa. Would you go with me? And she's like, who asked people those questions? I'm like, this is real. This could actually happen. And she did say yes. Jasmine had one experience on the continent. I had another, and we had about a week and a half together. So the person in the center is Maitino, who is a part of the Nzevi School. Once we hit the school, I will tell you a little bit more about her story, but remember Maitino's name. That is not her actual name. That is her name that is given when you are the mother of a child who is a student at the school. So everyone knows the parents involved by the prefix of my and their child's name. Maitino was our interpreter, and she was critical to our building some quick relationships with the students at the Nzevi School. Hayden? I wish I could have met this person, and I am placing her here so you have some perspective on the long-lasting effects of, I guess, just doing well, people doing well for each other. This is a picture that was shown to us. Her name is Maria Chiswanda. The picture, of course, honors her memory, and I hope that you can see what the plaque says. Loving, innovative, and empowering friend of the deaf people of Zimbabwe. This is the lady who a little over 20 years ago made the move to establish the first deaf school in the country, or the first school for non-hearing people in Zimbabwe. Her story is brief but poignant. She understood what people in Zimbabwe were going through when they had children with disabilities because of cultural issues, because of lack of exposure and education. If someone had a child born deaf, they really had a tough time. Maitino and other mothers helped us to understand the most difficult part is learning how to communicate after you deal with people telling you what you've done that caused this problem in your child's life. Maria Chiswanda changed lives, although she was only around to do it for 2 or 3 years. So more on Nzevi near the end of this presentation. Hayden. These are the people that Maria would end up impacting. Children on each side, but the gentlemen in the middle are people who were students, and they are doing what the end of the program looks like, and that is having their own livelihoods, growing things, making things, doing construction, etc. Hayden. Please look at Brenda and Blessing. We were being introduced to about 40 students at another school. Brenda and Blessing, who were in this video, are introducing me and Miss Prasad. This is what we heard the entire time we were there, of course, unless Maitino was speaking to us in English or asking us questions that could give the students more information. Now, after watching this, my students immediately said, well, wait a minute, did you pick up much sign language? And is there really a difference between Zimbabwean Sign Language and American Sign Language? And that answer is yes. We have a few things like the I love you sign and just a couple of other signs, but we were there to soak in everything that we could. And of course, we need coursework and lots of practice on Zimbabwean Sign Language. Okay, thank you, Hayden.
Perhaps even the primary role, considering how little apparent progress we made almost 3 weeks into this, and B, the fact that the police have been making some.
Does someone need to mute, or is that a part of my? Okay, great. All right. The Nzebi Deaf Center, started by Maria Tizwanda, does this. They are looking to make certain that the deaf community is valued in an inclusive society. And we are so fortunate to have so many opportunities to help children in this country. I am hoping for the opportunity to help children to find their place in the society that on the other side of the world looks just like the kids I teach every day. Hayden? Okay. Another switch. Now, this is audience participation. I'm going to show you 2 slides, and you tell me which slide is the authentic African experience. Okay, so this is slide number 1. Okay, take a peek. Hayden, please show the next slide. Nope.
Slide number 1. Slide number 1.
That didn't go like a plan. Okay. Okay, let's see. Now, how can I show you slide number? Let's see, Hayden, can you find that other slide with that one person there? Love how this happens, yeah.
Which person?
The single guy, don't want to give it away, you know. Single guy, I think he has just like khaki pants on. That guy, okay. So which one is more authentic, that guy or the
Slide
one more?
2.
Yeah, that slide 2. Who
Slide
said
2.
okay? Who said slide 2? Okay, you're right. No, actually, both are authentic. This is Mpisi. Mpisi is chief of Co-Mpisi village, correct? I was looking for the opportunity to be as little, I guess, attached as little as possible to the whole tourist experience, right? And of course, Victoria Falls is a wonderful tourist attraction, but I knew there had to be a village somewhere. I was able to sign up for an authentic experience, and this gentleman, who you can also find on YouTube, having been interviewed by several people, food shows, etc. He's a tribal chief, and it's really funny that you roll up there expecting what you saw 2 pictures ago. Hayden, take us back to, if you would. Pass them to, yep. You expect perhaps in a village, these are the outfits I'd see, and MPC laughed as I got out of the van saying, oh, what, did you expect me to have the skins and stuff on? They do that all of the time. So these dancers you'll see at the airport, and MPZ takes you through his entire village. You get a fascinating story about his family line. His grandfather fought in a couple of wars. MPC is what you call a diplomat who is actually made clear to the government as they are collecting tourist dollars, they need to direct people to his village and to several other indigenous spots to make certain that Victoria Falls is not just a tourist, just a tourist attraction. So he and I had probably a 2.5, 3 hour conversation, a nice long interview, and I met someone else very special through him. Keep MPZ in mind. Hayden, go back to the one that we had in between. Thank you. All right, getting into Zimbabwe, getting into a school in Zimbabwe brought us here. We needed to provide a background check, fingerprints, letters from our school. It was a big vetting process, and I am very happy that they do that process. We were with the Deputy Director of Education. And he made certain that we felt welcomed, but he told us, thank you for understanding. They absolutely have a process and don't just let anyone visit their schools. I was impressed. All right. To the gentleman on the left works for the gentleman between Ms. Prasad and myself. The young lady next to me is Selena, who is the director of the Nzevi school. Okay, thank you. Now, Hayden, we'd be two, yeah. The next one should be in PC, great, so go right ahead. Okay, another audience participation thing. Please take about a 30-second look at this picture and tell me what you see. It's a busy picture, so take a minute to tell me what you see.
Fabric.
Fabric, okay. That's one, thank you, Ms. Shepherd. Anyone else?
Skins.
Skins, okay, I don't see the skin.
There's feet. Someone is drawing with their feet.
Ah, Kathy, thank you. You are absolutely right. Let's see. If you see my little arrow, those are feet with an ink pen. A picture is being signed, and the next picture will tell you the rest of the story. This is honestly one of my favorite pictures. This is Nompilo. She is an artist and she's an activist. Nompilo's name means born alive, but deformed. And she lives at MPZ's village. She is, she's phenomenal to see, number one. She has never had the use of her arms or hands. And as you check out this picture, you'll note that she has a phone under one foot and she's near one of her paintings. When you walk into the girls, or as he said, the women's huts, he showed us how women generally live. He showed us how men generally live. It's pretty similar. She is the surprise that MPC likes to share. Because her story is beautiful. A tourist noted her skill, and when she was about 14, she was able to be sent to an art school in Harare, Zimbabwe's capital. Because she did so well, she also started speaking on behalf of other able people, She's an encourager. She did not want to live in the big city. She wanted to come back to live in the village. So you're able to purchase her art. It's just really cool. She has the nicest smile. She asked for my WhatsApp so we can keep in touch. She texts every now and again just to say hello and ask how my students are. I am always fascinated when I see the strength of humans around us. All of us can be everything we want to be if we just keep that fire burning inside. So that is Nompilo. Thank you, Hayden. That's how she writes. I made certain that my students who struggle with penmanship got a chance to see this. But yeah, that she neater than me. I certainly admire what she has been able to do. Hayden? Kind of wrapping up here. This is one of the few female people in the market that I had a chance to meet. The lady smiling closest to the cloth is one of, I think, let's see, hold on, 1, 2, 3. There were 4 women who we were able to purchase from on a Saturday. There were about 60 men in the same area. I was kind of taken by that. And I would see in Mozambique that it wasn't a whole lot different in Zimbabwe. The traditional roles that we see here, we saw just a lot more of in both Mozambique and Zimbabwe. I was happy to support all of the entrepreneurs, but I will tell you, I was looking to make certain that women in the marketplaces had the attention of our dollars. What was I'll call it perturbing was a couple of times men followed us to the women's booths. And they waited until we spent money to ask us to return to their booths to do the same. I'm not a good haggler, so I made certain that I did my purchases and moved on. If anyone has tips on how to do this next time, let me know, but that was my least favorite part, okay? The woman that's closer in, the larger picture, the woman in blue was my fabulous Mozambique host. She is Tamika Hanakowski. She is the director of Mission Mashangulu, which you will hear from in about 10 slides. So Tamika helped me to navigate both the marketplaces and understand those subtleties of making purchases. Hayden? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I see Mike's comment. We can do this really quick. Okay, so in the service and the looking at things, everybody has to have fun. So these last ones before schools, this is just fun. If you get a chance, you don't have to play that one again, Hayden. That's the one that we were doing fast. This is painful. Yep, dancing is not my thing. Go right. The next one. You won't be able to hear this well, yeah, but you'll watch Lucy dance. Lucy is a first grader at the Mapanga school. If you can see her energy, if you can hear this, great. I'll be quiet. Let's see, can you hear? Everybody's favorite part.
All right, Lucy.
Okay, thank you, Hayden. Let's see, go back one. Can we make certain that our audience gets to look that song up? That song, Va Novella, it's so popular. It is one of the happiest songs that you'll hear. I wish I could tell you what it meant. None of the people that I asked for lyrics could assist me, but Mr. Bo or Mr. Bow is the artist, and old people, young people, children, in-betweens, everyone loves that song. It just has it has an energy that makes you smile. And the part that Lucy did, that's what everybody waits for. So when I want or need a little change of perspective, I put on Va Novella because you can't not like it. Thank you so much, Hayden. Okay, I did it, folks. I did my debut at drum playing. If you advance it like 10 seconds, we can get to enough of it. This is the kind of fun that, again, when I'm, needing to switch gears and relax a little bit, I laugh at myself because I'm not a percussionist, like I'm not a dancer, but at a touristy thing, I'll put it that way, at a touristy thing, I think I felt I could take on any drummer. Go ahead, start. Go. Hold on. Oh. How did that happen? We're okay, keep going, because I want, Jean's gonna tell me that I got 4 minutes, and I think I got 4 minutes, so go right ahead. The food part, Langostinos, I was very, very happy to enjoy seafood, regularly right out of the ocean in front of us. Mozambique has an almost complete seafood diet. The best food in my humble opinion, was in Mozambique. Zimbabwe had great stuff that I'd never tried, like sutsa. Go ahead, Hayden. What's that? Anybody got an idea?
A worm.
It looks like a worm. It's a type of clam. And
What?
they actually, there's a bowl of it that's about 5,000 deep. I'm not exaggerating. They boil it with a little salt and just eat it like chips. Yeah, it tastes like oysters, and one was enough. Hayden?
Edna,
Yep. Yes,
is that your fingernail or something on the right-hand side?
that was my fingernail. It was about 1 inch long. Yep, so yeah, it was about 1 inch, all right? I want us to give this dude a shout out. He is the chef at Vita Nova in Cape Town, the best beef marrow split pea soup in the world. I can give you names and all that later. Hayden, go ahead. I want to be certain to give you, yep, just more fun, more revitalization, more of a good time. Hayden, go ahead.
Edna, don't rush. You're doing
Am I
great.
okay, Thomas? Okay, great. All right, this is Vita Nova Retreat in Cape Town. This is the front of the building where in back you saw that lovely picture of Table Island. My students noted that I hadn't, in their opinion, told me enough of the places that I stayed and what if they wanted to go, how would they know where to stay? So thank you, students. Hayden? The one place that I said, I believe when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, I said, I wonder if I could ever see where he spent all those years. I know that some people on this Zoom call have been to Robben Island, but I, with great joy, was able to share a couple of pictures and more so the feeling of seeing Robben Island. Hayden? This is, I guess this was everything. This answers how Nelson Mandela and the many, many prisoners, political prisoners, made it. Education in prison made a huge difference. Education as a vehicle for keeping one's sanity is what our tour guide noted. He was, I think, in Robben Island's cells for 4 years near the end of apartheid. Okay, Hayden. This is Nelson Mandela's cell. What you see on that tour and what you have likely seen if you were there is that one cell that looks just a little different from the others because of that red canister. It just left me in a different place to walk by the history that has been, and in a very real sense, to see the number of people on that tour, the number of people, the ages of the people, lots of young people, lots of people from Europe wanted the experience of being able to say that they saw this cell. It was a poignant moment. Hayden?
Edna, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. This statue, according to the Cape Town tour guide, wonderful guy named Yusuf, he said it was one of his favorite places to take people because he remembers the moment when Nelson Mandela stepped onto that balcony. Hayden. Education as resistance. That term, that this slide is everything, because from one part of the world to the next, is this not the most incredible way that we can lift ourselves and lift other people out of whatever situation they are in? In a way, I think that what we do every day at Booker High and throughout Sarasota County, we make certain that students know enough that they can resist the things that ignorance brings people by being educated. Hayden. The schools. I wanted to come to Mozambique because of Mission Mashangulu's connection to helping schools and a village. This is the primary school, and actually it's the side of this 2-building place that's the primary school. This wall was, this mural was done after a beach cleanup that Mission Mashangulu, Tamika Hunter-Koski's nonprofit, they did a beach cleanup. Children helped with this mural, and it's of course noting that we have to conserve. Hayden. These next few pictures give you the school and what I was telling my students. Everywhere in the world, every teacher I know looks for the values that you see right here: discipline, honesty, respect, solidarity, integrity, and peace. This is what we hope to teach our students, to show them by our interactions with them and with each other. And no matter how large or small a school is, teachers who love are going to be doing those things and showing those values. Hayden. This is the school. 3 to a seat. And when Tamika and her crew first started visiting, children were sharing one pen and passing a pen between the 3 people. I really enjoyed seeing a real blackboard, but I also thought, without central air and central heat, how much people want to be educated when they come and sit that tight and just listen and learn. Hayden. And this is what school looks like. This is actually Children's Day. If you see me in the background, I'm wearing a crown that somebody made me, and we're passing out treats. The beauty of Children's Day, it's a day to celebrate Mozambique's children. It's June 1st, and they get candy and stuff that they just don't get every day. What's beautiful is they know that they're being celebrated, and it is a day-long event. Hayden. This is what introduced me to Mission Mashangulu. This is November of last year, when I was just flipping through the Herald Tribune and saw this story and this picture. Please take note of the date. You can look it up if you're a subscriber. It opens right up for you, but it gives details about, oh yes, thank you, John. It gives details about Mission Mashangulu, the houses that they build, the food that they give, the clothes that they give, the love that they give. And what I think I like most is Tamika's not trying to westernize or change anyone. She is seeing a need that can easily be filled and filling it and learning and gleaning from these wonderful people in Mozambique. Hayden. This is the schoolyard, and I include this to remind everyone, when people are proud of what they have, when they will use every resource that they have, that is loyalty, faith, education, all in one. What I really enjoyed is that kids say their They say their pledge, they go around that flag. Does it matter that it's tattered? It does not, because what they are sure of is they should be at school every day and they are learning to make themselves better people. Hayden, winding up. I don't have a lot of time for Nellie's story. My students said I should include this because everything else had been really happy. And this is not an unhappy story. Tamika's hugging Nellie on the left. Nellie is standing with her baby on the right. You can tell that she's very young. Just like everywhere else in the world, including the country that all of us are in right now, there are opportunities that say children should be protected. There are things that should happen to make certain that no child is with a child and needing to figure out how to feed that child and gets to school. Nellie is being sponsored. Nellie has not divulged the father of her child, but Nellie only goes a couple of places. So what's important to this conversation is everywhere in the world, children must be protected, male and female. Secondly, she has pledged to finish school so that she can move to a bigger city and have opportunities to make certain that her child is in school. Because of course, in Mozambique and Zimbabwe, people pay for school. It is not the same system as we have. Hayden?
All over Texas.
I'm almost there. Let's see. This is the Nzevi School and the back on resources. The students who are part of a program that is helping them to learn skills so that they can sustain themselves and maintain themselves. They make lovely things, learning how to sew, but I'd never seen a sewing machine that was not electric. Fran, that's exactly that. And the young lady here called me over so that I could take pictures of her sewing. I thought it was incredible and I want to help. Hayden?
My mother had one.
All right, if you get a chance, please snap a quick snapshot. If you go to missionmashangulu.org, it gives all of the wonderful things that Tamika and crew are doing. The ideas for sponsorships are right there. School uniforms, a month of food, $50 goes a long way. Uniforms are needed, so snap that.
Yeah.
And Hayden, go to the next one, and then yes, and if you'd like to find out more about what Nzevi's doing, we have started the Maria Chiswanda project. Jasmine and I, and Jasmine Persan, the Booker teacher who was my buddy, we will help Nzevi as much as we can, especially the teenagers who are making things and trying to sell them so that they can have more opportunities outside of their school. And I think I got there. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank each of you for your attention, and I'll hang around a little bit for some questions.
I know that we didn't get a chance to do the questions on this Zoom, but why don't we all unmute? Because I think it was such a wonderful presentation. I'd love all of us to give a round of applause to Edna and Hayden for doing
Thank you, Edna.
and making us
Love you,
feel
guys.
so connected.
Bravo,
It was
bravo.
absolutely wonderful, wonderful. David, to respect the time, I'm going to have you stop the recording, but Edna has agreed to stay on for a little while. I was going to read things from the chat, and mostly, Edna, there's